What up? It's Benjamin D'Souza here, the Yachuan Emperor. Yeah, I want to give a quick, well, I don't know if it's going to be quick or not. I want to give a recap on the past two podcasts that the old man had. That one podcast are Black Women Should Be Generalized, the part 2 with the young lady and the older lady on the panel. Oh my God. I didn't catch the original one because I was working, so I caught the replay real quick, and I was so fucking livid. I was hot. I was hot. Shit, you could have boiled an egg on my forehead, man, for real. But I want to touch on a few things as a recap in that podcast. First of all, the older lady, she was being real. She came in the door with a lot of appeals to authority. You know, I'm an older lady, and every time she would speak to a younger panelist, it's always young man this, young man that. I'm like, shit, if I was there, it's like, bitch, don't call me a young man unless you want me to call you an old lady. You address me by my name. I'm not your young man. I'm not your son. I'm not your sweetie pie. I'm not sugar. I'm Benjamin. Shit, you call me Benjamin or Mr. D'Souza. Whichever one works for you. But yeah, she was just a quick overall observation to her. She's one of these chicks, these older chicks, is just trying to, you know, change course at the 11th hour. Shit, she was probably turning up in the 80s, man. I could see her ass down at fucking Crenshaw and Slauson and shit at the swap meet at night, drinking 40s with a Jerry Curl and, you know, just living the nightlife, or at the disco and shit, doing lines of cocaine and shit. You know what I mean? Now it's the 11th hour. Now she want to try to change course and try to appeal to an older brother who's retiring and shit, so she can get a piece of that pension check. Motherfucker, fuck out of here. What's the old saying go? You don't change horses, or you don't change ships midstream, or you don't change horses mid-course. No, you hopped on that horse. You saddled that horse, and you rode that motherfucker. You might as well ride it to the end, sweetie. But let me you feel me? And then, you know, she gave what I spoke about this shit in the past. I think it was in my last video, man, Confessions of a Deadbeat Father, on how some women they'll fabricate some fuck shit that they supposed baby daddy was on. Like they'll take any little thing that he did and equate that to some fuck shit and use that as justification for the fuck shit that they own. You know what I'm saying? So she automatically went to, oh, he was on drugs, and it was one night, he wanted to go out, but I wanted to stay home with our daughter. And that was the night I believed that shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Hell no. Up here lying and shit. You know good goddamn well what he was doing. He was doing it with him. Not to cast aspersions on that man, because I don't even know him, but, you know, shit, given the time frame and shit, given the time period and whatnot, he probably was with the shits. You feel me? And she was liking that exciting lifestyle. But then shit, he might, you know, she might have got out, or, you know, before that web got spun too tightly around her, he might have got caught up in that web a little bit too much to where he couldn't come back out. Or it could just be a crock of shit anyway. Or the whole story could just be a lie. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these chicks out here, man, they're so toxic that they'll be on some fuck shit, got their panties all in the street, fucking every time Dick and Harry, and then when their supposed, baby daddy don't want to put up with their fucking dysfunction, he gets his life together, moves on the other side of town, gets another woman, and they living happily ever after. Now she's sitting up here crying the blues, talking about some boo-hoo, and make up some fuck-ass story about how this nigga was cheating on her, how he was beating on her, how he was on drugs, and how he got this and that. Like, nah. Tell me something that I don't know. You made that shit up. You know what I mean? Like they already come equipped with the fucking black female fuckery excuse talking points. They got that shit. It's in the index. That's chapter 6, paragraph 3. Verse 2. When inevitably the shit blows up, whether you're in the right or in the wrong, devise some story to cast this, cast this man in an unpleasant light. So it'll ease you up out of the spotlight of scrutiny. You know what I mean? And what I also noticed, man, is that a lot of these chicks, man, if you too straight-laced, or if you too straight-laced for they liking, if they really, really, really can't, cast some dirt on you or get some dirt on you, they'll try to incite conflict to provoke you so they can get some dirt on you. You know what I mean? It's akin to, you watch the movies and shit, and it'll be like a detective that, he's going undercover as a narco to try to bust up some drug dealing ring or some shit, right? And, he's dealing with a cartel member, he's about to buy some product or whatever. And the cartel member is like, he's looking at him, he's assessing him. He's like, man, this motherfucker too clean cut. So he put his knife in the brick, bust out a line real quick and chop that shit up and like, yeah, go and test that product out. Let me see how you react to this. Because in this trade, you're going to have to do a couple bumps from time to time just to see if it's good or not. Just see if that shit's that hyena, you know what I mean? And when the detective don't take the bait, and he don't do that line, the cartel member automatically knows that something's up. So you know how the movie goes, and a big ass shootout ensues, and car chases and explosions, all the shit that we like, you feel me? But yeah, this what these chicks do, man. That's just a metaphor for how these chicks operate. Especially if these chicks are on some fuck shit, and they know that they own some fuck shit. They know they are. You know what I mean? Like when they get on their fuckery, they know good and well what they doing. You know what I mean? But they just try to find some dirt on you, and if they can't find some dirt on you, they'll try to manufacture some dirt to put on you to justify, when the situation blows up, and they can have an out to point the finger at you. It's like, come on, man. Like, why would you go through the trouble? This is what boggles my mind. Why would you go through the trouble to pull strings and set pieces up on the chessboard just to, what's the word I'm looking for? Exonerate yourself from the blame when you can just, get with the program so the shit won't have to blow up, so nobody has to get blamed because the shit didn't blow up. The shit's going smooth. But like I said before, man, these chicks, man, this reality television show, man, it's a motherfucker, man. Because a lot of these chicks are trying to live vicariously through these loving hip-hop bitches that they see on TV. You know, now I could do this as a vetting, part of my vetting series, but I'm just go ahead and throw this in there now. Man, fellas, if you come across a chick, don't ask her out front, do she watch reality television shows, because you gotta kind of ease it in there, but don't mess with her if she does watch these reality television shows like Love and Hip Hop, The Ink, or whatever. You know, if she watches those shows, do not mess with her. Do not mess with her. But don't just come out and ask her, because she'll lie. You know what I mean? Like, she say, "Nah, I don't watch that shit." So you like, okay, she good, we in the clear, you know. She like, you know, you got your apartment, she got her apartment. She like, "Why don't you come over, I'll cook you some dinner tonight." So you go over there, and she like, "Oh, you know I don't watch this shit, but my girlfriend told me to tune in to this episode tonight, so, you know, I'm just gonna watch this one episode right here." Nah, bitch, you been up on it. You've been up on it the whole time. I just asked you 2 weeks ago, did you watch this shit? You said no. But now you trying to ease the shit in on me like it's cold. You know what I mean? So when you go to inquire, do these chicks, you know, watch these reality shows, even shows like Empire or something, you know what I mean? If they watch that shit and they idolize Cookie Lions and shit, nah, man. Because that whole Cookie Lions archetype is basically a matriarchal, you know, destroyer goddess archetype, you know. And I ain't go front, you know what I'm saying? My ex, she was into that shit, and I was just, you know, quasi purple pill, quasi red pill or whatever. But I was like, fuck it, I'll just capitulate to what she, you know, all right, she want to watch this, all right, whatever, you know what I mean? So I sit down and watch a couple episodes of the shit, you know what I mean? I ain't go front. But yeah, though, that Cookie Lions archetype, man, that shit is cause, you know, she got locked up for a bid, and when she got out, she ain't had no stake in the empire and shit. So now she's going through these Machiavellian, you know, Mephistophelian methods to try to take power back from Lucius or whatever. You feel me? So you know, especially if a chick idolizes that shit, nah, man, she'll try to take your shit over, man. But anyway, I don't know why I got way off course like that. Yeah, you know, the older lady, man, she was basically, in my opinion, how I seen it in my eyes, she was basically trying to, you know, concoct some story, and nobody really knows, because, you know, nobody was there. But come on now. So that nigga just turned into goddamn Pookie off of New Jack City just overnight, huh? Okay. You was probably there with him, right there with him, talking about, I was prime queen. Your ass was probably right there with him. I was prime queen looking ass. What you talking about? Now let's get on Shorty, man, because she really had me vexed, though. You know what I'm saying? She really had me vexed. All of her shit was, what about the black man? What about the black man? She never once, not one time, the whole time I heard her, from what I heard, she never once said, yeah, you know, it do be some females out here that's on some fuck shit, though. For real. It do be some females out here fucking up. She never said that shit. She was lock, stock, and barrel with the sisterhood. She didn't give an inch. She didn't give a millimeter. And that right there, You know, if you're dealing with a female that can't, you know, be fair and balanced, not even a scintilla, not even just a little bit, nah. You can't even, you know, you can't even work with her, man. Not at all. And you know, the next podcast, I think it was our black women witches. Rude MP made a couple of excellent observations, which I peeped on the playback my damn self. He was saying, yeah, you know, she was up here, you know, doing all this giggling and shit, you know, trying to, you know, how a lot of dudes will fall for that. I'm paraphrasing what the brother was saying, but you know, if you heard him, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, she was up there, you know, trying to be all trying to be all soft spoken and shit. You know, put a you know, somewhat eyed avatar pic up there and shit, and then she but you can see her lack of respect for the masculine principle. You can see that shit, because brothers would sit up here, let her talk, and as soon as they go to rebut, she just immediately jump in, just stepping on all kind of toes. Shit's crazy, man. You know, and then she talking about she going to college to you know, get her degree in social work so she can open up youth centers and daycares and help the youth. Yeah, she said that shit after she was talking about what about the solutions? What about the solutions? What about the solutions? Shit, my eyes, how I see it, we can't come to the solutions until y'all women come to the table, you know, repent and apologize. That's how I look at it. You know, not to go too far off in the weeds, you know, on some spiritual spooky shit, but if you read the Bible, you know, God in the Bible, he says time and time again, you know, he refers to, you know, his people as his daughter, right? Or as his wife, right? And he tells them, you know, all the iniquities and the transgressions that they did. He said, listen, all y'all got to do is come back, repent, and confess, and ask for forgiveness. Then we can work to some solutions. And I'm applying that same methodology to the current situation that we in right now. Bitch, we ain't got shit to talk about as far as solutions are concerned until you bring your ass back to this table, raise your hand and testify, repent and apologize. Talking about some goddamn solutions. And C Boogie made a excellent observation of that. He said, you know, and I'm paraphrasing him. He said, you know, when black females start talking about solutions, it's code word, it's a dog whistle of basically saying, all right, shut the fuck up now. We can't really refute any points that you're making. We don't want to, you know, really own up to the bullshit that we own, but you really need to shut the fuck up now. That's basically, you know, what it is. And he made an excellent observation by pointing that out. You know, I was like, damn, he done slammed her on that one. That was a rock bottom right there. Shit. But yeah, she up here talk about, oh, I come from a two-parent household. You know, both of my parents are college educated, and you know, I'm going to college to get my degree in social work, and useless. Useless. That's a useless degree. You're essentially spinning your wheels. Oh, now you want to help these misguided children, you know, after they're 13, 14, 15 years old and shit. And they've grown up in single mother households and in the hood living in squalor and shit. Now you want to come in and give them inspiration. When their main programming is already, you know, they've already been programmed to be who they are. Are there exceptional people who overcome this programming and better themselves? Yes, there is. There is. Am I sitting up here and saying that, you know, I didn't have some faulty programming? No, I didn't. No, I'm not saying that, because I did. You know, but that me reprogramming myself came from many years of introspection and humility. Okay, these aspects of my personality are fucked up. I acknowledge that I got this programming from this, you know, area over here or whatever. I need to fix this. But she's trying to, you know, steer these children on the right path after the fact. When the source of the malfunction in programming is in the home. You really want to help these children out. You call these black women out on their fuck shit, and you get them off of said fuck shit so they can foster better homes and better environments to raise these children in. So by the time they get 13 and 14 years old, they don't need all these social programs and, you know, community centers to give them something to do to keep them off the streets. No, they don't need that shit, because they already coming from a two-parent household, and their parents and already then set them up and got them to thinking and shit on, you know, what their next move is. Okay, you 14 now, you a freshman in high school. In 4 years, you're gonna be 18 and graduating. What do you want to do? Do you want to go into the trades? Do you want to go into college? What do you want to do? That's, you know what I mean? So you got to start from the genesis of this shit. You know, she want to be up here being some blue-haired social justice warrior chick. I met plenty of these chicks, man, in college, man. Plenty of them. There ain't no fixing them, bro. You just gotta let them bump their head, man. But yeah, I mean, listen, I did my middle school and half of my high school in the suburbs. I can remember probably back in 97, 98. Shit, I'm in middle school. The white boys, you know how they dressed back in them days. The 150 Doc Martens on their feet and shit. The Tommy Hilfiger jeans, $60 Tommy Hilfiger jeans with the hammer belt, with the hammer loop on the pants leg and shit, with the Tommy symbol on it and shit. And then, you know, they had a little polo shirts on, but what they would have these hats, right? You know how they do their bills, where they, you know, really bend the bills or whatever. But these hats had universities on them, and you can go to the mall and, you know, buy one of these hats. You know, some people have Arizona Sun Devils, some people have the Missouri Tigers, or Florida Seminoles, or Florida State Seminoles or whatever. But they were walking around with these hats on, with these college hats on, because we're 7th, 8th grade, about to go into high school. And when we get into high school, now we start prepping ourselves for college. So they've already been given a program at home, and that culture seeped out into the collective. I mean, it was whole swaths. I mean, yeah, you had your different segments of white boys at the school and shit. You know, you had your skaters and your goths and whatnot. You know, motherfuckers like that and shit. But you know, the preppy motherfuckers who really came from the money and shit, yeah, they were already given instructions. They were already programmed. You know what I mean? And they walked around with these hats on to kind of remind each other, hey, listen, we going to high school now. It's time for us to get on our shit, because we got to get into one of these colleges so that, you know, we can come out of these universities and, you know, be captains of industry and shit. But not in the black community, no. No. A single mother, all she's worried about is getting that child support, you know, from K through 6. All she's worried about is getting that child support check and, you know, making sure her children come in before the street lights come on, and don't mess up your good clothes. Don't mess up your school clothes. That's all they worried about. So the white folks up here, you know, they talking to their children 6th, 7th, 8th grade, talking about, all right, you going to college, so you better get with the shit. And then what else this little SJW was talking about? Oh yeah, I get what you say, I hear what you saying, but it's the way that you saying it. You need to come with respect or some shit like that. Trying to censor you and trying to PC you and shit. That's basic, you know, college campus social justice warrior, you know, pathology right there. Bullshit. You know, and I believe Jason Black spoke on this about, you know, women trying to dictate the men on how they should say things. You know, I think he said something that when people try to, you know, reel you in and say, yeah, I hear what you're saying, I just don't like the way you're saying it type of shit. They basically saying, you know, sit down, boy, and take what you're given. I don't give a fuck if you don't like how I'm saying it. And if it offends you to the point that you just want to dismiss it altogether, hey, all right. I ain't tripping. Go ahead, sweetheart. Do you, boo-boo. Let me know how that works out for you. Then what the older chick say, she said something, you know, what is this, how is this bashing and attacking black women? How is that going to help us? Man, I wanted to be, because I spoke about this in the past, man, in my past videos, you know, giving a cultural analysis of, you know, 2 different cultures that I'm very, very close to. You know, my Caribbean culture on my father's side, and my North American Aboriginal Mississippi Valley culture on my mother's side. And let me preface this by saying, listen, I don't hate my mother's side's culture. I don't. I'm an active participant in said culture. You know? It's something poetic about, you know, being at a family cookout and, you know, you sitting in the front yard playing dominoes, you know, with the men, and y'all sitting up there drinking and slapping bones and talking shit, and you look around, you know, you smell the aroma of barbecue that's on the grill, you hear the laughter of the children running around the yard playing, man. You know what I'm saying? It's something poetic about that shit, man. And those aspects of my culture on my mother's side, I love it. I love it. You know, our block party, you feel me? That ends peacefully, of course. There's something poetic about that, man. I love that shit. But there's a lot of fuck shit, a lot of bad things that is part of our culture. Things that are, how you say, non-productive. I would venture to say downright detrimental. And I gave the analysis that on my father's side, you know, they utilize shame as a tool to keep people in line. On my father's side, if you known throughout the family to be a fuck up, you will get excoriated for it. You will get chastised for it. And it may hurt, you, you know, it may hurt your reputation with networking with other people within the family and the extended family. Because if word gets around that you're a fuck up, nobody's gonna want to do business with you. And it's gonna take some time for you to really get your act together, really show and prove, and build your reputation back up so motherfuckers can trust you. So you can come back in the fold. But they don't wait, you know, on my father's side, man, hey listen, blood or not, man, they don't waste time with losers, man. They do not waste time with losers. If you fucking up and you're a loser, they are quick to tell you that you're a loser and you're fucking up, and they wash their hands of you. And guess who is the chief officers in this regard of shaming people back in line socially? The women. And the men uphold it. The men don't go around, you know, verbally shaming you, or you know what I mean? That's the women's job. Now they're complicit with it, but it works just the same. And I think that we need to implement that within the black community. And in a sense, we have, as far as the niggas ain't shit is concerned. Shit. Black females been running with that shit for the past 30, 40 years. Oh, it's all good, you know, when they want to pull out the shame stick and beat us with it. You know? But then we want to say, okay, all right, ow, all right, enough, we get it. Now let me get that stick from you and let me hit you with that same stick. Now they want to say, oh, what good is you shaming and putting us down and bashing us? What good is that gonna do? Well, shit, I could have asked you the same thing 30 years ago. All these niggas in jail. All these niggas is gangbanging and killing each other. All these niggas ain't got jobs. These niggas is on the down low. They all like white women. Shit. Where were y'all women at, you know, back in the 90s? And Rude MP brought this shit up about the Sally Jesse Raphael and the Ricky Lakes and even the Jerry Springers, for real, the Maury Povich and Ronaldo Rivera shit. What else? Let me think. There's some more of them jokers too. Oh yeah, you can't forget about you know who. The Queen. I don't even want to say her name. You feel me? You already know who I'm talking about. But yeah, where was y'all females back there talking about? Hold up. What good is it gonna do bashing the men? Oh, y'all were nowhere to be found. Y'all were nowhere to be found. But you know what I think it is? This is what I think it is. This is just a theory. This is just a theory. This is, you know, I haven't put a thesis to it quite yet. I don't have any evidence quite yet to back up my thesis, you know, but this is just a theory. Put this out there. What I think it is I think it was a response to what many black women observed in the sexual revolution. you know, the 60s going into the 70s, you know, all these flower children and hippies and free love and all this other shit. See, after the feminist movement, I believe it was the second wave of feminists. After that shit popped off, then the sexual revolution, you know, and these women were like, oh, okay, it's time to, you know, it's time to bust it open now. Shit, I'm trying to be on my back with my legs in the air. Yes, girl. You know what I mean? After that shit popped off, shit, the brothers was like, shit, all right. Shit, it's every man and woman for theyself out here now on these sexual market streets. Game on. Set them up. Let's play, bitch. But what I think a lot of these women did in the 70s and the 80s, you know, during the disco era and going into the hip-hop era and shit, I think they was observing a lot of these brothers in these nightclubs and at these parties and, you know, at these concerts and whatnot. They was observing their interactions with other groups of women. Now the women, you know, went back to their dark council, you know, the council of Thoughtsia. And they said, wait a minute now. Listen, ladies, this whole sexual revolution shit was all good when we was free to, you know, express our sexual freedom. But wait a minute. These brothers is doing the same thing and they starting to run with these white women or these Latino women or these Asian women. That's not good. So we need to devise a plan, a strategy, and a tactic to either keep them in line or deter other women from dealing with them. Now in the streets, we know that shit as dirty macking. Niggas dirty mac, bitches dirty mac all the time, you know. If it's motherfuckers dirty mac all the time. Let's say you had a job, right? You know, you just started. Now I don't advocate that you brothers get your honey where you get your money. You feel me? You keep that shit separate. But yeah, I'll give you a personal dirty macking. I got a couple of them for real. So I'm working at this hospital downtown, right? I'm working as a tech. This little shorty, man, she was working for housekeeping. She's probably about 5'4", 5'5", dark skin, gorgeous face, for real. I'm talking about shit, 30, 24, 36. She was built. And I'm talking about when she walked on the unit, bro, it was like watching the goddamn Clydesdale just strut across that motherfucker. It was a sight to behold, let me tell you. And you know, me and her get to chopping it up and shit. Now I know I'm kind of getting off topic, but I'm gonna tie it together. Just stick with me. So you know, she come around and shit. You know, give me the eye. We got to chopping it up, flirting with each other and shit. You know, she was feeling my vibe, I was feeling hers and shit. You know. So another tech that I was working with, I must have been like 29 at the time. Homie was like 32, so he was like a couple years older than me and shit. So he would just say little shit about her to me. Oh, and it was another dude there that was dirty macking on some heavy shit. I'll get into that in a minute. But you know, homie I'm talking about right now, he was like, man, shit, man, she walked like her pussy stink. Nigga, how do you deduct her vaginal hygiene by the manner in which she walks? You know what I mean? That's not an overt, flagrant display of dirty macking, but it is a subtle, subconscious dirty macking strategy. Cause now he done put in your subconscious mind, man, this bitch pussy might stink. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that whole statement right there was, it was so vague it wasn't backed up by any hard evidence that it couldn't be confirmed or denied. You know what I'm saying? So that's a Dirty Mac and strategy right there. Same place, same chick, different dude. Now homie was like, no, at the time I must have been like, I was like 28, 29. So this other dude was like 26, 27. He was like, he graduated a year after I graduated. So he was like a year and a half younger than me, right? So we in the lunchroom during break, right? Now homie was a security guard. Now I'm a tech, she housekeeping, and this dude's security guard. So we in the cafeteria and shit, we all eating lunch and shit, we all there. You know, he over there jeffing with her, trying to get her to go out with him on a Friday, you know, go hit the club and get some drinks and shit. Like he on her tough, like, hey, you know, let's go out Friday, you know, just out, you know, putting his bid in, you know, out in the open. I'm not knocking him. I'm like, shit, go ahead, man. You feel me? I'm just eating my lunch, you know, looking at the clock like, damn, I need to get back up here and hit this punch back in on this clock in a minute. So it wasn't nothing to me. You feel me? Fast forward like a day or so later, he up here talking about, no. Let me take that back. The first day, me and him was chopping it up when she wasn't around. He was like, man, I don't like such and such. I'm like, why? What's wrong with her? Man, she just too ghetto, man. Every time we be in the break room, man, all I hear is motherfucker this and motherfucker that and nigga this and nigga that, man. She just too ratchet for me. I'm like, you know, I'm trying to, you know, I'm kind of acting indifferent and shit. You know, I'm like, I mean, that's just who she is. I mean, it is what it is. But in my mind, I'm thinking, shit, yeah, she ratchet, but that body is cold. She cold, you feel me? So I really wasn't trying to hear what he was saying, but, you know, I was just trying to play it off and play it smooth, you feel me? And then a day later, that's when he came with that shit, trying to really put his bid in with her. I'm like, nigga, so at first you want to sit up here and try to get me off the scent by telling me how, you know, how ratchet and how you don't like how ghetto she is. But then the next day you want to turn around and try to, you know, go out on a date with her and shit. Dirty Mackin', you feel me? Trying to throw me off the scent. You know? Now, me and this chick, man, like Mike Epps came to town, right? So, you know, I take her to the Mike Epps concert and shit, you know. We get our chucks in, we get our yucks in, you feel me? Shit, you know, we sipping, we feeling good and whatnot. Now, it was during the week, so we had to work in the morning. So, shit, she just spent the night at my crib, you know, nothing happened, you feel me? Wink, wink. But, shit, we got up in the morning, you know, went to work and shit. And a couple of the coworkers seen her get out of my car. So the very next day, you know, the day prior to that, the security guard homie, like shit, he was rocking with me. Like we was cool. He, you know, he come through the unit. We shoot the shit, man. We chop it up about football, basketball. We was all, you know, buddy and shit. After he done found out that shit, she done went out on a date with me and possibly spent the night in my house and shit. Now all of a sudden he coming around, you know, on some fake super thug shit, mugging me and shit. You know what I mean? Like he'll walk through my unit and shit, straight mugging and shit. Normally he'll stop, chat with me for a minute, and then go on to the next unit. Now he coming through mugging and just walk on through. I'm like, what the fuck wrong with this dude? Oh, I get it. Because the week prior to that, he was trying to throw me off the scent on some petty ass, you know, she ratchet shit, but then turn around and try to go out on a date with her. Now he done found out that I done went out on a date with her and this, that, and the third. Now he in his feelings and shit. So, you know, that day, she was all, you know, flirty with me. You know, we be in the hall all by ourselves and shit. She coming up to me, giving me a hug as we talking. And, you know how bitches do when they put their pelvis up against your pelvis, where y'all genitals are damn near touching and shit, you feel me? Y'all genitals is touching and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? So we doing that and shit, but then, you know, a couple days later, like, she just really, like, you know, switched up on your boy. Like, she really just started acting hella funny, man. So I'm sitting back, I'm peeping the whole scene, I'm like, oh, you dirty motherfucker. First you tried to dirty Mac her to me, try to get me off the scent. That didn't work. So now you trying to double back and dirty Mac me to her to get her to not fuck with me anymore. I'm like, oh, ain't this a motherfucker? All right then, charge it to the game. Lesson learned. You feel me? And I think that's exactly what black women were trying to do in the 80s and in the 90s when they hopped on all them talk shows, you know, basically coming up with this campaign slogan, niggas ain't shit. That's basically what they was doing, you know. They would come out and say disparaging things about other groups of women to try to deter us. And then when that didn't work, they tried to deter other groups of women from, you know, from fucking with us by telling them how bullshit we are. We ain't good daddies, we abandon our kids, we in jail, we gang banging and shooting up the neighborhoods, we selling drugs. You know what I mean? So now what we have here today is a complete full circle. Now see that whole thing, that whole dirty macking thing that came back around on them, and now we telling other brothers and brothers from other mothers on how fucked up these women actually are. And see what's so delicious about this karma is that now we have social media. There is actual video documentation of this shit. See, back in the 80s and the 90s when they were saying niggas ain't shit, they ain't that, they ain't this, you just had to believe them at face value. You know, it wasn't an internet or a gang of smartphones floating around here where you can just record this shit or document this shit, visually document this. Now, when it's our turn to get into the square and give our piece on this shit, now we got video on this shit. Now, when we want to get into the square and speak about black female fuckery, we got actual video and documentation and statistical analysis, stats, quant, if you will, to back up everything that we saying. And guess what? Everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. You feel me? There is no escape, man. No escape. Y'all gonna have to face this down. You either shape up or ship the fuck out. You know? Because we will continue calling out black female fuckery. You will not like it, and it will not be quick. This is going to be a slow process, you know. And another thing, I believe the older chick was talking about, you know, but what about these chillings? What about the childrens? You know, I know these women that made mistakes, and but what about the childrens? Well, first of all, you should have been saying, what about the childrens, before they came here. You should have been saying, what about the potential childrens before they came here? Shit. Instead of goddamn skydiving through life, using your thong as a parachute. Shit, goddamn, she's so old by now. She probably using them big draws granny panties as her parachute. Oh shit. You feel me? But shit, instead of skydiving through life using your thong as a parachute, goddamn it, you should have grounded yourself and stayed your ass on some solid ground. But nah. You had to drink the Kool-Aid. We are women, hear us roar. We are strong and independent. And we don't need no man. And we can do whatever the fuck we want to do. And y'all better not say shit about it. That is so fucking gangster when you think about that shit. That's some gangster ass shit, man. But yeah, man. Shit. I don't have this utopian outlook on things, man. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I quote 50 Cent all the time when he say, we all can't win. Some of us gotta lose. Some of us have to lose, whatever, how you ever say it. Some of us gotta lose, man. Not all of us can win. But yeah, man, that's my recap, man, on that exchange. I was so hot, man. I wanted to make a response right then and there. After I heard that shit, I was like, man, let me give it a day or so. You feel me? Let me have me a nice steak dinner and relax. Give me a nice little spa day, you feel me? And relax before I go in. But yeah, though, this is Benjamin D'Souza, the Yaochuan Emperor. Like, share, subscribe. You can contact me at One People, One Nation, One Destiny at gmail.com.